Good evening, everybody. I'm John-Edouard and I will present you this evening the technical seminar, which I prepared. So, first about me, I'm the international consultant for technical consultant for SportNat, and I'm living in Stuttgart. So this is the house of Porsche development and Daimler, so Mercedes, trucks and cars, and also Bosch, so you know it for the electrical system, but it's also everything in vehicles. Yeah, I'm mechanical engineer from France. From 2011 until 2 years ago, I was project manager. So I lead a 2 million project in production, serial production. It was automotive, and we get a green start of production. So that means after 6 months, everything was okay, and I said, okay, then it's okay, also okay for me. I stopped now to work for the automotive industry, and I want to work for people. So really to help people. Healthy people to get even healthier, so this is named personal trainer or life coach also. And I'm also founder of Athletic Exploration, so the mindset is to explore your available surrounding, so just get out of your house and at the next corner to find incredible opportunities, and this eye-opening, I help people to find solutions of training creativity. And I know Philippe and Christian is not here this evening since 2011, as I was at this time interested in method naturelle as the origin of parkour, which I was training at this time.
I have to say that Christian is sorry not to be there. Send me a message.
Okay. So first, I would like to gather your expectation about this technical seminar. What are you awaiting? What do you wish to know about technical point of view of method naturals or SportNat? What do you wish to know about just movement or conditioning system? Let's think about this. We have time. Or I will shorten another point.
I have already.
Yes.
How can we help people to strengthen all the upper part of the body?
Mm-hmm.
It's a general question.
Okay, the upper part. Yeah. So from the core.
Sacro-scapulaire.
Okay, from core, because it's wide.
Mainly the arms and
the arms. Okay. Yeah. Good. I will always have a small example through the presentation about this other point. If not now, don't worry. You can interrupt me all the time, at any time, to tell, hey, I have questions about this and that.
Some technical details in how to perform certain techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
how to climb more efficiently, how to jump, how to land more efficiently, how to roll more efficiently.
Yeah, okay. So about the efficiency, we will speak about this definitively, yeah. Or?
I was wondering, it's about the future trainings in SportNet, but we planned to make a session about how helping each other can help to perform and to train muscles you won't train if someone doesn't help you. You see?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just want to, it's not an obligation, but some kind of a point
Collaborative
about
training, you mean?
What?
The collaborative training.
Yeah,
So,
really.
yeah, I will then, if I well understood you, I will then take example of like cheerleading and acrobatics, but partner acrobatics. What is?
Yeah, my point is about people who are weak.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it other way. and you want them to become stronger, and so like that's what I have in head when we did I don't
The
know,
pull-ups, yeah.
pull-ups.
Yeah, that somebody
yeah,
takes the legs.
somebody helps you, and then you can do it. And if
Yeah.
somebody doesn't help, you can't. I can't.
Yeah.
So
this is about the intensity. We will also speak about this in the presentation. This is in the part conditioning. We will speak about the intensity and what is important to take care during the training about
and
this.
so how helping can.
Yeah. Sven?
Some ideas or methods for trainings to help and support people who are exhausted to recover and to relax after training.
Okay, yeah. So please remind me about this because it will be really at the end of the presentation where we will speak about the slowdown part of the Georges-Hébert intensity training. And yeah, please remind me about this because it will be really far. The other point, I think I will get them always again here and there. But as I explained and as I write it here, ask me anytime. Okay, really. So here's the overview of what we will see. We will speak first about the quality of movement. And we will see this in three parts, anatomical terms. So in order to communicate with somebody else in another language, we need to have the same vocabulary, same terminology, so we can learn from each other, okay? Then we will speak about mindful coordination. So the huge problem by, some German words slide in my English. The huge problem, so in sport or as soon as you are in movement, you are under load, okay, under a certain load, so it's a pressure and you cannot think anymore normally, okay? You can actually already experience this when you are working, simply working at your desktop and it's cold. Okay, you are just freezing, you cannot think normally. And this is a kind of intensity, and when we are moving, it's exactly the same. And that's why under this pressure, normal people are getting in wrong movement. So the natural way to move is actually destroyed by this intensity, okay? So that's why we can see, for example, when people are crawling on the floor, that they start amble. Okay, we'll see again this. This is just because they start to think. I already saw that during Nordic walking. A personal trainer saw a movement with the stick and to open the shoulder. Okay, it was really easy. And the person, the old person, start to place the stick and open the shoulder. He was ambling because he was thinking. The pressure was already too high for him to keep the movement in a cross gate or this contralateral. Okay, we will see exactly in pressure in detail after. So to keep mindful is really important. Then we have different movement pattern. I already introduced now with ambling and cross gate. And after we will see the conditioning part, so about, it's everything on the slide. On the slide it's cut. Okay, I thought it was more number, but doesn't mean, it's okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's missing in the. Okay, the conversion from Google Sheets document to Microsoft PowerPoint doesn't really fit. So yeah, tip of exertion. We will see this. So you already know endurance, strength. Okay, this is just two examples we will see about. mobility, so we will speak about what is mobility, what is stretching.
What is exertion, sorry?
Exertion is like endurance is one type of exertion, and you have strength. If you lift something heavy, it's more strength, and you have power, and this is different type of exertion. We will see them, how to categorize them in different, how to make the difference. And so we have alternating effort, and these alternating efforts are really the core of the natural method. How can I go back in? Yes, here. Okay. So let's start with quality of movement. All the presentation is very interactive. Okay, so you will not sit here 2 hours or 1.5 and just getting information. Okay, because it's not the way to learn something. Okay. We have to move. You have first to understand, so you have to understand my English. But after you have also to take the information for yourself. You have to experience something. Okay, this is the best way to learn something, and this is what you will experience this evening in the next 2 hours. So let's start about the anatomical terms of motion. I wrote in really small. Like what is flexion is actually bending, okay? So I'm bending like that. And what is extension is strengthening, okay? So anteversion is when I go front. And retroversion is when I go back, okay? Then we have abduction is when one limb of the body go away from the middle line. And we have adduction. So for people speaking English, addition, adduction. Okay. Then we have elevation and depression. With the face is really important. Okay. So like that, you can really, in a short time, memorize all this Latin wording. Okay. And you have supination. In German and in France, soup, Essen, supination, soup, Essen, manger la soupe, ça marche pas trop en français. And pronation, okay, like that. So pronation, yeah. Actually, there are 3, but we will not go so deep in detail now. What is important to know for all this movement, I will stay now only on the flexion and extension, is that the muscle chain which are engaged are opposite. That means when I'm doing flexion, and this is really important, I'm stretching the triceps and I'm, sorry.
You're contracting the
Contracting,
biceps,
thank you, it was
stretching the
concentration. Whatever. Contracting, thank you very much. Contracting the biceps, okay? So, when I'm doing this, you can actually trigger your muscle only in contraction. You cannot say the muscle stretch, okay? You can only say contract, okay? And release, but it's not stretch, okay? So, when you are contracting here, automatically in the central nervous system, there will be a signal sending to both sides of the muscle, or of the arm, sorry. So to here in this example, 5 muscles, biceps, 2 muscles, triceps, 3 muscles, okay? Here on this side they will say contract, and here they will say just let's go, okay? After you have a lot of sensor, which will tell you, oh, the release is too far, it's too much stretch, the angle is not okay, you will hurt yourself, and so on. We will see this after a while, okay? But just now, to know, we are an efficiency machine. And actually, we are even better than any machine. We are human, and we can better than anything. We can better than any animals. We can climb, we can swim, we can fly, but, well, with materials. But anyways, we can do everything. But now, without material, we can climb, swing, swim, sorry, run. What most of the animal can only do one or the other things, but they cannot do so various movement as what we can. Okay, so this is very important. To be human is like it's promoted by the method natural, is to do all this range of different movements. Okay, good. It's not clear for the agonist, antagonist, that when you are contracting, the other is just letting go, and that's why, because I can't give you an example, I can't contract both of the sides, I can't do this. I'm braking myself, not braking, but braking like driving car and braking, okay? I'm braking myself, okay? It was a guy in the 1960 who developed isometric training and trained a lot without weight, without movement, just make it like this, just contracting both muscles. He had huge problem with the central nervous system because after he was not able anymore to move efficient. He was just consuming energy even to take a teacup. Okay? Good. So now, what are the motion in order to touch your hand in the back? Okay? Describe each arm in detail. Okay? And show ambidextrous, so both sides. Okay? So just try to, Sven, do you want
No,
to?
let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Do it. Stand up. Try to reach. If you cannot reach, use a towel or use a t-shirt in the back in order to climb with the hands. Jean, just a step on the side, please. Thank you. Okay? So I help you in the way I show you the different name so that you can already learn them.
There's a good side and a bad side. Can you do that? No,
Okay? So, I saw the problem as always here is most of the time people, instead to do this, they do that. And here it's much harder. So, place the hand in pronation. Don't go in supination. Stay in pronation. Was its arm to get in pronation, or what do you move your hand? It's because it's in your back, and then you have to think, hey, upside down or front back. Okay. So let's go. What does the upper arm for motion?
Flexion. Flexion.
Flexion for in the elbow, exactly. So we have already
Anteversion.
exactly anteversion because you go front.
It's forearm with
David?
flexion. Forearm is inflection.
Yeah, that's we have
Anteversion,
already
and
flexion.
retroversion. Doing anteversion, flexion, then retroversion because
No,
you go back.
no, you cannot have anteversion and retroversion.
Supination here,
Supination.
and then
No, this is pronation because the hand stay here.
Yeah, it's
Supination will be there. If you go in supination, you are like that. Look, I turn in supination, I'm here and I turn in supination, okay? So it's not the supination, it's pronation.
pronation
Abduction.
and abduction.
Exactly, this is the one. And you have also the elevation. You cannot stay like that. You have to elevate about the scapula. You have to elevate to go there. If I stay down or at level, then I'm short. Okay. So so we almost saw everything. Now for the it's almost the same what I want to tell for the arm behind. We have then the retroversion. Okay. We have flexion again.
Forearm.
What?
Supination. Supination.
No, it's pronation again. Look, your hand is like that in your back. but you're feeling it because it's upside down or back front, you know? It's the coordination is normal. No, it's the opposite in this. You have a depression. You have to go with the shoulder down.
You're talking about the shoulder.
Yeah. Okay. And you have the adduction. You have to put the arms close. Okay. Good. So this is just a simple example. I personally describe also movement like the teacup balancing. So here this movement, there, here like that, doing this. I describe all the phases, but I don't go here, okay? But it could be much more complicated. Okay. So now about mindful coordination. So this is one important part in the method natural. It's always important to have to train both sides. So this is called ambidextry, and it's strong and weak side. Not only in strength, but also in dominate. Okay, which legs with hand you will use to do something accurate, okay, like throwing, okay. Just a simple example. What you don't know, you are doing all the time ambidextry is when you are climbing stairs. If you take small children, they have this laterality issue that they are always climbing stairs like that, okay? Always taking the other legs like trail legs in English, like a trail from a truck, okay? Trail legs, and they have a lead legs, and they're walking. Let's see if you walk also like that, you know? So walking, they are doing it right from the beginning, but stairs climbing, what do we have? Here we have the pressure, the intensity.
Sunday in the evening, I was like the child.
Yeah, but this is because of an injury. This is not because of the coordination. So the intensity to get a stairs up is higher. So already for little children, they cannot clearly think. And so they go in another movement, which is not actually the most efficient, okay? If you train them, if you say, hey, stop, use the other legs, they take time, and they go for it. But if they have to follow the rhythms of the parents, then they will do like that, until 4 or 5 sometimes. Okay, so let them have time to learn. Because time, if you have more time, you have less pressure. Regular step, this is when you are crawling, for example, or if you are brachiate. So brachiate is when you have a tree and you are doing like that, okay? Or if you are handstand walking, to take care that the steps are regular, getting mindful about this, okay? Not doing this or little thing. Oh yeah, best example is balancing. I see often in my training, people who are balancing, they are really making a good step in balance with one leg, and they're also coming really close because they are afraid. Okay? So think about these regular steps. Kinesthesia. When you run, there is a thumb touch. So you run that the thumb touch the rib cage and not go further. Okay? Elbow is 90 degrees, and the other gets here. So here I have visual. This is jogging pace, okay? If you are sprinting, it go further, sure. But the thumb touch for jogging pace, it's a good trick, okay? And this is, I don't see where I am, but I feel. Another example is when I'm crawling, in order to be sure to crawl in cross gait fashion and not in ambling. In cross gait, what I always explain is when you have the position, then your knee come in contact with the forearm. Then the arm, then you go front. This is supported cross gait, so 3 points. Go front, and the knee come first in contact with the forearm, and then you put the foot. Okay? I think you can well imagine what it means when crawling. I don't want to start to crawl, and I can explain this by standing. Slow motion. Think about this. You can do any exercise in slow motion, okay? To get control. It's most of the time it's easier to do it dynamically, okay? Because you're jumping over your weakness, okay? But if you go slow, you really have to master each position. And mastering each position is again this kinesthesia. You have to feel, if I go now in a deep squat, every muscle where I have to go, and the joint also send me information. What is the angle? What is the feeling, the tension needed in the muscle? Okay? And you can do this also closed eyes. You don't need to put something, because if you put a t-shirt on anything on the eyes, you have the problem that you are increasing the risk, okay? Just say, guys, we have to make a break, 30 minutes? Okay. So just tell people, close the eyes. It's enough. If they feel, if they are afraid or anything, they can always open the eyes, and then is everything safe. If there is still something on the eyes, then it's getting wrong. Okay? And
John,
the breathing. Yes?
Sorry, about this one, maybe backwards.
Backwards also, yeah.
I used to do the same crawling
Yeah,
from work.
yeah,
Backward.
exactly.
That works a lot.
Backwards you are also getting in kinesthesia. Yeah, exactly. And the breathing. So when you are jogging, you can remark that you are actually compressing the rib cage at the moment of the impact. Okay? This is to keep the core stable. Okay? To have a good dynamic stability. If you breathe at this moment, you are like an elastic and start to move, and all of the energy go right and left, and not anymore in front where you want to jog. Okay? So this is an example. Another example is supporting the movement. For example, if you are doing pull-up, then you should here breathe, because the rib cage is opening. Breathe in, breathe out, because, okay, here. Okay, so this is more a support of the rib cage. So getting mindful about when I'm breathing is very important.
But if you breathe out when you pull yourself up, don't you lose strength when you do exertion? See?
No.
No, you don't lose power because you breathe in. Because it's attraction, no? They were teaching us that when you do attraction, breathe out, no?
Yeah, but this is just, as I explained, to support the rib cage opening. So after you can do the opposite in order to have if you want to lift weights, additional weights, then yeah, you can.
I'm talking about the pull-up.
Yeah, and no, what you are exactly talking about is pressure breathing. So this you will do this for maximal strength. But here I'm speaking about normal intensity.
Okay, no intensity.
Not low, just normal, that you can breathe like endurance. Okay? Good. Question about footiness. Sorry. How to know what is your power or takeoff legs and the lead or dominant legs? Tu peux regarder combien de minutes il y a encore sur ma caméra? Do you know? Then stand up and try to find out how to know. You don't know. You don't need to push somebody.
Just fall?
Neither.
No, I don't know.
For example, to imagine how one starting a race. So when you, for example, sustain and then you are
About the lead or the dominant legs. Okay. How do you know which legs you will use, for example, to land precisely on a target? No, it's really easy.
By pushing someone in the back.
This is risiko taking. I have solution without. Can you come to me? Step. Okay, finish. Lead legs, left. That's it. He has to accurate, to put his feet accurate on my hands. So, are you writing with the left? Are you writing with the left hand?
Est-ce que tu écris avec
Oui,
ta main gauche?
j'écris dans la gauche.
This is called laterality. If he would have enthralled me in the other, then it's called as cross dominance. I will speak about this. But you see, this is most of the people, like 85%. He uses the left legs like dominant because he's writing with the left hand. This is the brain. Is how the coordination is done. It's called laterality. Okay? So most of people are writing with right hand. So most of people will use the right legs. Okay?
Parce que je
And that's why, yeah.
a bad test, enfin, I don't know is that a good test or a bad test is to shot in a football ball. I
Yeah.
think it's not the main leg that will be used because it's more important to keep balancing than to throw. What
Yeah,
do
but
you think
it's
about it?
also not always the case because there is some people which use the right legs for power and for lead legs, or in this case, yeah, in this for the accuracy they use also the right legs, the right foot in this, okay, but also for the power, so they will also jump and take a takeoff more easily from feeling with the right foot, okay. So the most easy, now you have the example, you are really telling somebody accuracy, so let me give the legs you want, and this is dominant. From this, you can find, okay, now do a big jump and take off from one leg. But the jump has really have to be easy, the landing. No precision, nothing, okay? So that the person can take off naturally on the power leg. And so you can find out the power leg. Normally for anybody who is training, he's know by himself which is the power leg and which is the dominant leg, okay? But this story of kicking in a ball, this story of pushing somebody, it's proven, and also from my experience, first you don't need to push, they just need to fall, okay? And it's proven that it's not the legs who is strong coming first, it's also, and that's why it's mixing the information, the legs which is actually faster to react, the leading leg. That's why when you are hurdling, so jumping over the chairs, then you will use the leading legs here, okay? And it's not the takeoff legs. So take care about this, really think accuracy. Okay, yes? Ah, no, it was just here, okay. Good, and now, how many common ambidextrous activities do you know? I explained you once, it was to climbing stairs. So for us, it's telling, yeah, nothing. It's like standing. Standing is nothing, but actually it's already balancing, standing. And the climbing stairs for little children is already, yeah, laterality. So you have to be ambidextrous to get the stairs one step after the other. Okay. So let me know, what do you know for activities ambidextrous? Where do you use, so here there is the note, where do you use either both hands with the same accuracy, or doesn't matter if you use the right or the legs, the right or the left hand. Yeah,
Typing on a keyboard.
exactly. Yeah.
Typing on the keyboard or computer.
Cycling?
Yes, well, Philippe has a good topic, yeah? Carry on, when you're driving?
Probably using both legs.
Oh no.
If, yeah,
not-
almost.
not
So we can find
With
a,
automatic car now.
so we can find a good example of ambidextry in rally driving because they are braking with the left foot. Try it, but without nobody behind.
Yeah, because
Because you are full braking, okay? Because the left leg can only 1 or 0. So
because the clutch, because
Yeah.
of the okay.
exactly.
It's-
So that's why this in rally driving using the left legs for the braking is a good example. I don't know if you work in your garden, but if you are shower, perhaps also with the other. So this is also an example. What do you know?
I have to change in the garden. I think if I don't think to change, I wouldn't.
Sorry.
I will be tired, and then I'm tired. No, I have to change and I continue. So, but it's not automatic.
No, it's never. Yeah, but what was the activity you took as example?
Shovel.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and I begin always so,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
after time,
Yeah, but it's better to change after time
after time, but
than to
it's
stop.
not automatic.
Because yeah, but you could also say, okay, I'm stopping shovel. Okay, now I feel better. I go again, and it's always the same side. You know? Okay, nobody is playing music.
When you
Yeah,
when you are
they are not doing exactly the same task. You know, they are independent. This is already ambidextrous.
when
Yes. Wat t'as déjà dit?
Doing archery too.
Archery. Yes, if you are using, so if you are not specialized, this is also a really good example. If you are doing archery old style, you are bowing one from the left, one from the right, that is ambidextrous. But just telling, here I'm targeting and here I'm pulling, this is not enough.
Traditional, intuitive,
Yeah.
longbow shooting, something like this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this archery is a good example, and also in archery you have this ocular dominance. How to know what is the ocular dominance? You do a little hole and you look at somebody inside. What is my eye? Which eye do you see?
Left.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Many examples. Let's carry on. Quality of movement. So now what do we have for movement pattern? We have contralateral. That means that the limbs are activated over the diagonal. So right hand, left foot. Example, walking. When I'm walking, I do this. This is a dynamic stabilization because when I'm lifting here, I need the dynamic stabilization here to keep my center of gravity of the other side. Okay. If you're looking at little children, we have a speciality here. How do they walk at the beginning? Like that. And with the time, they remark, oh. And then it's become walking. Okay? Running the same. Good. So we have running, we have bounding strikes, fully bondissante en français. We have crawling, we have throwing. Here, close together, stretch. Okay, so it's again contralateral. We have climbing. Not every movement in climbing, but most of the movement are in climbing are over the diagonal, because if you are on the side is called barn door, because you are face climbing. I mean, if you have a cliff here, and you are just in contact with these 2 points on the side, you are opening. Because your center of gravity is away from the axe. We have a little bit by front crawl at the moment where your hand is gliding in water, the gliding phase. You have actually to kick with the opposite legs, but this is just to counteract the rotation, because if you are pushing here and pushing there, then you start to turn, and this is not efficient. We have the cross in fighting, and the Turkish get-up. If you don't know it, is not important, it's just an example. If you know it, then you know that it's contralateral too. Then we have bilaterals, that means it's on both sides, both hand or both legs. And most of the time is symmetrically, okay? So it's not to be mixed with ambidextrous, okay? So standing long jump, well, it's not so long, but just to show. Lifting, carrying, pull-ups, and push-up or muscle-ups, this all movement. We have also the back bridge, so bridge on the floor. In yoga, they know, so the frog gymnastic is called the crow in yoga. The back bridge from gymnastic is called the wheel in yoga, but it's always symmetrical. And we have the breaststroke, so symmetrical also. Okay, and the legs too, but I cannot show. We have unilateral, meaning one leg, like balancing, but also, the name is arabesque, okay, like that. When you are doing the arabesque, think about that the hip has to be at level. Most of people are making that the butt is on the side, go at level, and you feel it in the hamstring. That's cool. That's cool. This is a correct arabesque. I was not level all the body, but okay. And hanging, when you are bridging, one hand after the other. You have also the shifted counter rotating. So if we have something to juggle, no, not really. But when the cascade juggle, we really have nothing to juggle. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Oh, no. It's not a small weight. Okay, whatever. Juggling, when the ball go cross in between, this is this movement. So it's counter-rotating is like that. And shifted is one after the other. Okay? Good. And we have this also with Ekbeder. And what is ipsilateral is main on the same side. So in gymnastic we have the cartwheel on one line. We have side flip with side rotation in back bridge, and the equivalent for yoga. And we have in boxing this or the hook. It's also on one side. Good. Now it's your turn. One example I never spoke about is rolling. And in rolling, we have all the patterns, or almost all. So, I know all the name of the different rolling through different pattern. So, let's try with what you want. Bilateral, contralateral rolling, ipsilateral low rolling, so on the side, over the diagonal, symmetrical. Roll. Try. Do a roll and let's find out which kind of movement pattern it is. Rolling.
Diagonal.
Let's try and Exactly. So David show a diagonal one, almost diagonal, hurting on the hip. There behind we have also a diagonal. Yeah, forward and backward is the same pattern. Here we have a bilateral one. Also gymnastic roll.
Stretch the body.
Yeah, not really rolling, but you are almost there.
Just roll sideways.
Yeah, and here we have the ipsilateral one. Exactly. Yeah, you can be close together, you can be straight, you can have the legs, the arms like that. So, rolling on the side like that, this is ipsilateral. And one very funny, I will try so to make it here. You sit, take this one, like that, and you go on the side. Okay? And you can do turn, and you can be with another person, two together. It's funny. Okay? Teddy bear roll. This is name. Okay? The other was the side roll, what you did, David, the side roll. Then we had so a lot of parkour roll, so over the diagonal. Why? Because it's hard floor with parkour, so we have to roll, and it's really a nice forward movement. And the gymnastic roll is bilateral because they have soft floor, so they can go over the bones, but well, I cannot really use it. Huh? So what I use personally is only the parkour roll, so over the diagonal, which is hurting no bone if you are doing it well. And there is some tricks for the hip motion to do this, and also if you are getting out of the roll over the diagonal, don't come out on the back of the foot. This is from martial art, and they have again a soft floor. The foot is not designed for this. The foot is designed to push from the what is the name? Sole, thank you. And so that way when you are rolling out, then use the sole on the foot, okay? You are getting more power, you get faster, and you're wearing less your shoes. So again, ask me anytime. Ask me also if you need to drink now, or...
another role is Yoko lateral.
Yeah, so this was controller. This is controller what you did, because you left one, you put it away, and then you go there. Yeah. Good. Let's speak about condition and skeletal muscle contraction. Why skeletal muscle? Because you have also the heart, which is not skeletal muscle. You have also the organs, which are not skeletal muscles, but they are all muscles. Okay, because they're contracted. So skeletal muscle is the muscle what you need to move. What you need to move immediately, because the other you need also the heart to beat in order to feed all the muscle. So what is concentric is when the muscle is shortening. What is eccentric is when you contract the muscle, but the muscle is getting longer, so lengthened. Okay. And what is isometric? It's when there is no motion, but there is contraction. Okay. So concentric, it's pushing like that. Push up, for example, you are always in concentric. Okay. For the biceps. Sorry. Wait a second. Triceps. Yeah, for the triceps, sorry. For the triceps, you are always in concentric, in the push. And when you release and you want to control down, then you are contracting. So you are breaking or avoiding from falling down. and that's why you are in eccentric. Okay, so eccentric is braking motion. And if you do any braking motion, and most of the time at the beginning of new movement, because you brake in order to have the correct motion, you will get a lot of muscle soreness, because muscle soreness are coming actually only from the eccentric. So if you go only step up, climbing step up, always up, 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 never down, then you will have no muscle soreness. Kein Muskelkater, pas de courbature. Okay? Only if you get up. If you get only down, it's hurting. 2 days after. Okay? So, think about this. If you are breaking a movement, just if you want to make something accurate, you are controlling the motion from one muscle through the other, so it's not any more efficient. Okay? And you will get sore with the muscle because of this always breaking. Okay? What is isometric is no motion, but what is the intensity? If I'm pushing this wall, I have no motion, and I am in isometric. Okay? If I'm pushing him, this is called human car push. Resist, resist, resist. Here I'm also in isometric. Okay? What is the difference? The first is an overcoming isometric, and the second is a yielding isometric. Okay? That means by the yielding isometric, normally he has to push so much that actually I will go in eccentric. But it's not always the case. Most important is here, my central nervous system. It's okay, thank you. My central nervous system knows that I'm unable to move the wall. And this, you are not crazy, you know, here. So you are not just fucking up against the wall. Against him, it's the trigger in the muscle much higher. And that was already measured by scientific, that people can develop more strength against a target or something you think you can move it because you believe. And here you stop believe. Okay? Monkey tree. Which kind of contraction has the tree as it is in horse stance? Who want to do the monkey?
Isometric.
Yeah, isometric. Which one? No monkey? Yeah, yielding. And that's why when people are playing monkey tree, the tree gets up because it gets tired. Okay? This is a typical example of yielding isometric. Good. Type of exertion. I will say to wake up, everybody go in horse stance a little bit. Just taking the horse stance, not doing the monkey tree, just go here, face, wide, knees, try to put the knees above the feet, wider the knees, exactly, okay, and after you can go wider, try to sit, so ride the horse, upright, beat the horse. Okay, good. I think you wake up now. Let's carry on. Tip of exertion. What is really important is the time under tension. And the time under tension is measured until muscle failure. Okay? It doesn't matter to take only the number of repetitions you can do. Okay? It's the number of repetition in a given time which matter. Because it set the speed of your movement. Okay? So, if we take the example of method naturelle using plateau system, it's not fair actually for all the participants, because some participants get slower, some others get in faster. So the people who get in faster have less time under tension, and the others are more time. So actually the slower and weaker participants are training much more, because it's the same distance for anybody, than the better one. Okay? So actually it will be more accurate to do with the time, but it's difficult to do this on a plateau. Okay? So the solution is to have an open plateau. That means you have a distance where the trainer knows how long needs the weaker to get this distance, and that the stronger get further for the same time. And anybody finish at the same time the plateau and go back on the side. This will be a fair solution. Okay? Another fair solution, what I use in my training, is that the people are running, and when they're coming, it's a big loop, and when they're coming back, the first, so the stronger, they're just running, they're running back on the loop, so they do a loop like that, coming to me back, and I said, hey, go pick up the last one. And then they jog again with the last one. And if they are again faster, then they go again back. Okay? So it's kind of yo-yo until the weakest of the group. Okay? So these are the advantage that the weakest is never alone, that the weakest is always pick it up, and mentally is really strong. I don't know how to place this in a plateau, but yeah, it's just an input. I train in open space, so it's much easier at this time. So what is time? Time could be volume, so the number of repetition, or the number of package of repetitions, this is called sets. It could be distance, the covered distance, how many kilometers, but also the range of motion. So if you do this, okay, it's not the same like that. Okay? Good. And we have also the time. So this is more for the isometric. If you are doing pull-up, you have the grip also. This is isometric, and you cannot count repetition for the grip strength. So you have to use the time. Do we have enough time? Then, so we have time under tension. What is the tension? Is also the intensity. And the intensity could be also set by the base. If it's unstable, it's much more intense. If or narrow, on a rail, for example. It could be the load, so a heavy storm. It could be the speed. So if you go really faster, then it's more intense. And it's also the resting time. With a short resting time, it's getting much more intense, so much more pressure than if you have really time to rest, but sure, not getting cold. So now we have the speed. The speed is up to 30 seconds at about 30% of load. So 30% of load is one repetition. Never try to do the one repetition. Always do 2, 3. So take a load, make, I don't know, for example, squatting, a weight that you can only lift 3 times in a row. This will be your giving then the repetition max. So you take now this this weight and you go for 30%. Okay. For sure, this example was not really appropriate for speed. A weight that you can move during 30%, 30 seconds, sorry, in order to make accurate. Because if you move a weight only during 5 seconds, then you are in power. And then you can take 50% of this maximal repetition that you can move during 5 seconds. Or again, from your strength, if it's up to 30%, 30 seconds, sorry, and here strength it's at starting at 80%, 90% of one repetition maximum. Hypertrophy is something well used by bodybuilding, and it's also a normal development by people. So this is my belief. You have one intensity, like children starting to walk. They have their body weight, and what's happened? At the beginning they're just doing few steps, so it's maximal strength. And after they try again and try again. Muscle are building up. This is hypertrophy, okay? But they don't getting bodybuilders because the intensity is the same. They carry on and carry on, and they get then in endurance, okay? And this is the way how I train. I train anything, movement. I always take care about the intensity, the same, and I try to go always longer time until to reach the endurance. And the endurance is at starting muscular endurance. It's starting at 100 seconds under tension. So if you are pushing up during 100 seconds, so 1 minute 40, then you are starting the muscular endurance. What is the muscular endurance? Is the fiber in the muscle are red, more red, so more bloody. Okay, so this is really good for the recovery. You will recover faster if you are training only movement that you can do, under 40 seconds. Repeat under 40 seconds. Then you will develop much more wide phase, muscle fiber, and you will need also more time to recover because they are not irrigate from blood or not directly. Okay, so this is also a good stuff to know that you recover faster if you more training endurance. And this is all the same for the heartbeat. So here it's just cut at the end. So we have for the heart 70% from the maximum heart rate to 80%. This is the phase of endurance. It's also named aerobic. It's simple. As long as you can breathe, you are in aerobic. Okay? If you cannot more breathe, then it's anaerobic. When you are jumping, it's anaerobic. You cannot normally breathe. You also need the compression here to keep the stability. And there was also a little other information behind. No. That's it. Okay. Good. This will wake you up definitively. How long should someone crawl to get in muscular endurance?
Over 3 minutes.
In almost
100 seconds, it's like 3.5 minutes, let's say.
Why? Explain more.
Because you said the endurance is an exertion over 100 seconds.
Yeah, please.
Mm-hmm.
Just, please.
Endurance is an exertion that goes over 100 seconds.
Exactly.
Continually.
So why just 3 minutes or over?
I said, everything was over 100 seconds is endurance.
Yes, but why then 3 minutes? Just because.
I just said 3 minutes like this.
Okay, so it's almost this, but there is no explanation. So explanation. So you need an explanation.
Crawling like a kid or taller on the floor?
Beer crawl, like what we did, quadrupédie ventrale. Yeah. So on the feet and hands, no knees.
Sorry, muscular endurance always all 3 minutes. It's an aerobic exercise.
Yes.
You still don't go with.
But don't mix. I'm speaking about muscular, skeletal muscular endurance right here, not hurt muscle endurance. I don't wrote skeletal muscular, but it's what is mean here.
Because it's collateral, you have to double.
Exactly. You see the master trainer? Exactly, people. The time under tension. If you're pushing up, is the time under tension of the muscle. So as soon as it's not anymore under tension, it's not counting. Okay? So if I'm crawling, like here I have the tension here, here I don't have the tension. Then I have the tension there, then the other is not under tension. But it's not resting. And you know it because you already crawl. You know that when you are switching from one diagonal to the other, the one diagonal is not resting. It has no time. So this time is not count as under tension, but is also not count as resting. Okay? So that means you have to double 100 seconds. This is starting the muscular endurance. So this is leading you to 3 minutes 20 in crawling. How to adapt the intensity. If you crawl a hill up, then you will have less load. It will be easier. So I don't think that anybody here could crawl 3 minutes 20, but I see that some are really fit, and I would like really that these people crawl with me 3 minutes 20 at least, just to feel how it burns. What it is, muscular endurance. Okay? You want to do?
3 minutes 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know? It's good, no?
But it also depends if you're going backwards.
Yeah, it's going upward the hill. So crawling
Yeah,
uphill.
but if you're going this way, so
It's
one.
easier.
It's
but
easier on
let's
hill,
try
but
3
it's
minutes.
less,
Yeah, let's try. Yeah, okay,
less
yeah.
load.
Yeah, forward, uphill,
And backwards.
in order to make the intensity easier, that you can achieve. This is dosage, what I'm speaking about. Okay, this is adapting the intensity to what you can. Because any of you can crawl 3 minutes 20 or 5 minutes. Okay, this is no problem. You just have to create the slope for this, that you can make it.
Mm-hmm.
So floor is already hard intensity, crawling on the floor. Okay? The other I just have to show and to have compassion.
Take care of
The time, oh, come on, Philippe. Just here and me, yeah? You go for it? You too? Yeah, go for it? Okay. So, can you remove the chair behind? That we can roll? No, it's okay. This chair, no, these chairs are okay. Just behind line. There, thank you. And we will make a big loop here in the room. Normal crawl. Yeah. And I also need some, Sven, can you make place with the chair? And I would like also to have some trainer who is taking care that the participant who start now for this adventure of 3 minutes 20, let's go for 3 minutes 33. 333, it's better. 10 seconds more, you know, it's good. The time to take position, and 333 is what I do always. Okay? I would like that some trainer take care that anybody is still in contralateral, so in cross gait. Because during the time, the intensity gets higher and higher, and it's burning, and you will see them switching to amble. Okay, so I'm leading. Enjoy. Ready?
Ready?
All on all fours? Okay. Think about regular steps. Take your own pace, your own speed. Don't get too fast because you have to crawl for 3 minutes 30.
30.
Yeah, 3 minutes 30 in order to be sure to be in endurance.
3, you said. I tell you there is 1 minute.
Aurora is humbling.
How many?
So you feel the aerobic. So perfect endurance already reached, but still not the muscle arm. Let it burn!
minutes.
30 seconds to go! At least!
Allez, 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 allez. Nice. 330. 333.
So a little bit more is not bad. It's even more in the skeletal muscle endurance.
John, if you can.
Feeling great. Good.
What about the warming up? What about the different techniques? What about the efficiency? That not.
It's not finished. The presentation is not finished.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's in
For this.
in this case.
So the warming up.
Because there are, you can see in the video later, there are, everyone have his own technique, and maybe you can have it trained more. So timing is not for everyone the same. is one I want to
Exactly. This is the intensity, and that's why I spoke about the slope, or to do it this heel hop, forward heel hop, because the intensity actually it should be like, yeah, like it is here. It's about 60%. So with 60%, honestly, yeah, you can already warm up, but you will not enjoy yourself. And this is maximum 60%.
No,
So it,
no foreign just about performance, about what you can do.
to get the really maximum time you can do this
If
until
you-
the muscle failure, you mean?
Yeah, until you arrive to this part of the muscular endurance.
Yes.
If you warm up, you can maybe get
Even further, yeah, sure. Yeah, this was without warm-up. The warm-up was more or less include, because the intensity of crawling for the people who participate was not so high.
so high.
So warm-up, it's not only joint rotation, it's also doing the movement, what you want to do, with less intensity. So you can start a warm-up with 30-40% feeling of the 100% maximum strength what you need for this movement, you know. So this, in this case, will be crawling with dragging something behind you or somebody pushing you. This will be maximum strength, you know. And then you would be limited by 30 seconds because somebody is breaking you or you are dragging a weight, a stone behind you. Or
If you crawl another way, for example, if you go over like this,
Yeah.
you create more intensity.
exactly,
Like this.
this is the row. So this is the range of motion, and we will speak exactly about that just after. But this is what I explain here. The distance covered, and here end the range of motion. Doing the lizard crawl, you are increasing the range of motion, which increases the intensity.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Oh no, this is the time. No, actually, then it's. Yeah, well, okay. Here in this case, increasing the range of motion is definitively increasing the distance. So also the time you need for this. Sorry, as in the lizard crawl, as you stay low, it's the range of motion is given, so it's 1. But the arm lever are higher, because here it's a small arm lever for the core. If you go there, it's huge arm lever, and that way is the intensity higher. Exactly.
Like this.
And this, in this case, well, if you want to do strength, so up to 30 seconds, time under tension, you have to double, as Philippe explained. Goes for 60 seconds. Okay? 60 seconds is about the time I need to lizard crawl under 3 bench in the park. So crawling under the bench without touching the floor. So yeah.
Yeah, but the load is much different in the laser than in the classic.
Yeah. This is because of the lever arm. So you are increasing the intensity.
Okay.
Does that answer, David?
Yeah.
Good. If not, then tell me. Good. This is exactly what we want to speak now about. So the seminar is well built because we speak now exactly about that. The type of exercise. This crawling, bear crawl, is a kind of partial repetition because when you are bear crawling, you are doing just that. You are not doing, look, Davo. You are not bear crawling like that. You are bear crawling like that. So it's a partial repetition. Okay? So the difference between doing a partial repetition and a full repetition, I can show it really well when you are jogging. You are doing partial repetition, running also. Sprint is really toward full range of motion because you're really searching, reaching far, pushing. So it's huge movement, but not definitively full range of motion. If you want to have a controlled full range of motion, you can go for this one. So it's, I call them hurdling lunges. So lunges is doing this. You can do lunges, partial repetition like that, or you can do full range of motion. That means you go here, here I cannot go closer. I go there, here I go fully down, hips stay at level, straight, here I'm down, and I go up. Okay? No, not okay. Still not. Because you can do this on a edge so that the knees go even deeper. And then you will reach your full range of motion. Here I was blocked by the floor. And this is next example. Flat versus elevated. If I'm doing, I don't know, handstand push-up, so imagine I'm in handstand, I'm doing push-up, this is partial repetition. I need to have something elevate so that I can do full range of motion. So the full range of motion is really great to keep flexible. Not really flexible, sorry, to keep mobile. Because flexible is somewhere you can go, but without strength. So that's why the people are breaking or getting injured. Because they are stretching, and they have not the strength. So for the split, for example, you have to get the feeling that you can make this adduction here. So best is on towel, for example, or bridging between two trees. Okay, one tree here to the other here. You are in strength, and this is really promoting your mobility, getting the split even better with strength, without really getting in a muscular disbalance. Because if you are stretching, if you are doing like this stretch, for example, here stretching the hamstring, for example, you will lose muscle strength because you are pulling on it like on a elastic, or what is the name in English? Don't remember. Whatever. Huh? Yeah, band elastic. I think it's elastic. The rubber band, yeah, rubber band, and yeah, and you are losing the strength of it. Okay, so best is to keep mobile, move through the full range of motion in strength, and the muscle have to stay under tension. This is the key. Muscle have to stay under tension. So joint flexibility is, there is some sensor, I put them here, so Ruffini ending and nociceptor. It's sensor which tell you here the joint can move there, so that means I'm here, and when I do this, I go further, okay? Yeah, here with really much weight, you see, my knee can go there. If I go in the squat, I'm not at the end of range of motion. So you have to make the difference between what your joint is able to and where your muscle are able to hold the position, okay? And this is the muscle mobility. So you have also sensor, muscle spindle, and Golgi organ, which are stretch organ, letting you know, as a muscle, it's too much stretched. This is the example I was here, or I'm here. Here I'm contracting here, so it gets stretched, and here there is a sensor telling, oh, take care, you are overstretching, it will pull the muscle, okay? And most of the time, it's not right. It's just fear. So if you move without fear of the movement, you will get really faster mobile, okay? Have a great range of motion, but yeah, go slowly, but don't be afraid, huh? So you don't have to jump in the joint. Take care, But don't be afraid, this will really help you to get even faster mobile. So I explained about the stretching, that it's reduced the muscle tonicity. So stretching, there is active, passive, static, dynamic. So active is what I show all the time right now. It's I contract here, so I'm active stretching this muscle. Passive is I go here and I hard load, so I'm passively stretching. Both were static. Here I'm doing the dynamic, okay? Or this one is the dynamic for the hamstring, okay? Yeah, and there is some other, but they are not appearing on the slide, so we can drop them. I can explain, but it will be too much for you today. So, lizard crawl. You took the example, I knew it. What should I take care during the lizard crawl?
Trunk stability.
No, this is not the most often problem by lizard crawl.
To stay down all the time. Not
Yeah.
to elevate yourself up.
This is a problem, that people want to stay down. And they forgot to keep muscle under tension. They fall in the joint. So, typical failure is the elbow is spiking up because they are falling in the shoulder joint. If you hear this one, strength, and here, then you are in muscle under tension and you can go for lizard crawl. I'll show you. So, here, you see you don't see my elbow, the right one. The right one, you don't see it. Now I go here. The elbow is here. Most of the time people are getting there and falling in the joint. Okay? So, strength, the tricep strength, the pectoralis, to keep all the joints under the muscle as tension, so under control. Think about any of the position you are taking, not falling in the joint. Keep muscle under tension. And you will also get more flexible or more mobile through this mindset. And we are coming back now to one of the first slides, this mindful movement, mindful coordination. To stay mindful also, because this is high intensity, it's hard to stay mindful. Do you want to try?
Listen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but you are not slow. Okay, this is a mix between the dragon wall, the dragon crawl, and the lizard. You are not actually deep enough. Yeah. Look, you are spiked. Look at your elbow. Do you feel your elbow? It's too high.
Okay.
Yeah, and now close it.
Was it?
Close to your chest. Elbow to chest. Yeah, and you see what's happened? It's getting higher. So it's adapting the intensity. Okay? It's easy to put you overstressed and falling in the joint and leading to hurt and to pain or to I'm losing my English now, I'm also getting tired. To get hurt simply. Okay, so think about it, stay under tension. Different, I will go fast through this one. Different, do you have a question? Okay. Alternating effort. So if you are doing repetition, movement, push-up, pull-up, squat, then it's better to lowering slowly. So the eccentric control. Okay. Rising fast, because most of the time what you have to rise is always fast to move forward. So push, slow down, push, slow down. And hold the upper and the lower position. So if you are doing push-up, that you are getting really here and holding to have the muscle under tension, not falling in the joint. Good? Okay, yes, and in between quickly holding the lowest and the highest position is flexible. Reciprocal inhibition. So this is switching from a push movement to a pull movement. But it's not always push and pull. For example, you can do this reciprocal inhibition by bear crawling forward. And now for the legs. Crab crawl, also forward, but look at the here. Because once in bear crawl, I'm doing this. In crab crawl, I'm doing that. Okay, I'm bending and pulling myself up. Okay, another good example is when you're climbing stairs 3 by 3 or 4 by 4 if you can. You have first to pull yourself and after to push you up. Okay, so this is a great exercise. Stairs climbing 3 by 3 or 4 by 4 steps. Alternate. It's an example when you do something in the lower body and after switch immediately to the upper body. So the blue, they really have to pump quickly to feed the muscle of the upper body and after immediately go down in the legs. So it's really, for the cardiovascular system, is really exhausting. Then we have the interval training. This is a change of speed. We have the plyometrics. So this is switching immediately from a landing to a takeoff. So it's look like that. Actually, I have to make a depth jump. And we have 3 other important. We have the contrast and complex method. So you are doing maximal strength, so that means 5 repetitions or like something like that, or up to 30 seconds. And after you are doing maximal speed. What is really important is that the movement is similar. So that means if you are doing heavy squat, it's to do a box jump. So box jump is bilateral jump, jumping high, it's exactly the same. If you are doing running or sprinting, then it will be much better to make heavy bag and climbing stairs. Again, climbing stairs. This climbing stairs is really important, really. It's a great exercise, we need it, and people don't train it enough. So, with weight, climbing stairs, and again, try to do the same range of motion. If you don't have a stairs, you can do the human car push, and this is, from you again, you know how to do. John, in back. And so here, with 2 legs, he is braking really hard, and I try here to push. Okay, he's really braking hard. And I try to push to make the same motion, to the same range of motion as when I'm running, but in strength. So you can do human car push, pushing somebody. He has to brake that the together speed is like walking speed, but I'm fully in strength, okay? And this you go for 20, 30 steps, make a small rest, and after go for a full sprint. But take care, when you are pushing in human car push, your steps has to be as huge as the step you are doing during the sprint. Thank you very much. Then you have so-called pyramid. The repetition decrease while the load increase. Okay, so it's actually switching from strength. Well, here this example is switching from endurance to strength, but you can also switch from strength to endurance. And this is within a set, okay? But you can also do this over a longer time, and this is more called periodization. So periodization, it's a preparation for a competition, and you have first a huge volume, so really endurance, and you decrease the volume, and you increase the intensity just before the race. Make a break like 3-5 days, almost a week. Then you have the race, and after you go for a recovery training. Okay. This is standard training in sport. I don't believe in periodization. So only periodization I believe is the season. It's winter. I have no big interest to getting out. It's too cold. It's too rainy. So I prefer to train inside. It's summer. I go out. Or winter. I go also a lot in swimming pool, much more than summer because I go in the sea. You know what I mean? Just adapt to the season. Good. Well, almost so far. What? Nein. Il est pas là le graphique. Attends, il est. Comment on peut le mettre devant?
Bouton droit.
Bouton droit. Et après, tu peux m'aider?
Mettre en avant au premier plan.
Ah, bah c'est embêtant parce que sans graphique ça va être dur. Si, il y est, mais on le voit pas. C'était une image donc.
John, one question.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, what about, because you speak about all the extension, it's about the technique of minimal. You were minimal, and did you adapt your technique of running? And
Yeah. So the minimal shoes is if you have here something on the hill, you have a shortening of the weight. Okay. So this is the first. So this helps you to squat. This helps you to run. But what you are speaking about, it's more the running technique, and this is something else. If you have normal shoes, you cannot run barefoot style because the heel, the material. Sorry.
no,
Yeah, I don't know the name in English. Sprengung in
The
German.
heel, it's the heel.
Yeah, but the material here, the damping material will avoid that you can land first on the ball of the feet because you will contact and so you will get the impact in the heel. And this is what we want to avoid because we are not thought to run on the heels but to run on that the first impact is on the ball of the foot because the foot can not safe but
absorbs.
thank you.
Yeah.
Absorb a lot of energy and after
But the part of the foot changes the contact. But
yes.
also I think what I'm doing is the
Yes,
longer.
yes. Yeah. So if you run barefoot style, you have a frequency, which
frequency.
is higher. Yeah. This is okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. But I saw you in some videos doing sprints.
Yeah. This is sprint.
Yeah, but doing a sprint like quite long, full long.
Yeah. It's calling. You have to pull in the sprint.
Yeah.
So you place, but I'm still not coming with the hill. It's really here, but it's the spring. So you are like levitating over the floor because you are so fast. You are really on springs. Yeah. So this is okay. In a jogging pace, you are much heavier. You know. So you have really to you have much more braking. So eccentric. One thing what I don't like with minimal shoes is that you don't get the feedback from this. Most people landing like a plane, and after they're crouching like that on the. And if you're doing this barefoot, I swear you get what is the name? No.
Blister.
Blister, thank you. You get blister really fast because it's burning, you know. So, vous l'avez téléchargé ou?
J'essaie de me connecter.
Parce que sur la courbe, c'est.
Mais moi, je te l'ai envoyé.
Ouais, ouais, mais elle est dedans, elle est dans la présentation.
Mais t'as pas besoin d'aller
Pour
dans
moi,
le-
je pense
dans
que
la
c'est.
conversation Facebook, tu vas trouver l'image qu'on cherche, tu peux peut-être télécharger jusqu'à. Quoi?
Oui, c'est ça, c'est
Yeah. Next time, we know I send you in PDF file, and so then we have no problem. Download it in PDF. I'm sorry I didn't know about. I didn't thought about that, or I didn't know that's a problem.
Can you make a little resume about the...
Yeah. Je vais expliquer la courbe. So let's try to find another solution. Wait a second. Almost there. Good. Okay, so I will give you my smartphone, and so you can see the curve on the smartphone, and you're getting the smartphone through. So here we have a curve of intensity. I will, whatever the presentation will be available as soon as I'm back in Stuttgart, I will make a PDF of it, that everybody can see it, and it will be available for free download on my website. I will give the link to the John-Edouard Méthode Naturelle Facebook group, and you will see the graphic. So here it's making wave up. You will also get my smartphone in the hand. Up. Here you have a peak. Sorry. Here you have a peak, and after it's getting down. Okay. And actually,
Sorry, brachiating is climbing, yeah.
yeah, this is the problem is that the original name is not inside. It's on the graphic, and I add some. So here it was ready, for example, and I translate it in English. It's crawling, but if you look at the John-Edouard books, quadruped is not only crawling, it's also rolling, and it's also handstanding, because his handstand was crawling with the feet on the wall. So nowadays known as handstanding, so handstand wall, on the wall. For John-Edouard it was crawling, because all four, makes sense. He was climbing, but he has also a lot of examples about brachiating and also rock climbing. He was
Jumping,
and if you look at the book of John-Edouard, in the jumping it was also hurdling and vaulting. Here we have balance, so balancing. And if you look at the book, and if you look at the books of John-Edouard again and again, in the balance you have people climbing on other people. This is nowadays called partner acrobatic or acrobatic, and John-Edouard was in the category balance. So this is something I wanted also to make clear, to make in the same time like a resume that balance is not just on a rail. Look at the book of John-Edouard, look at the graphics, okay? People were climbing on those other people, and that was called balance. Jumping was not just jumping, it was vaulting, it was hurdling. So hurdling is what I jumped before. Yeah, carrying. I don't remember what I put carrying. It was lifting and carrying.
One question though.
Yes.
How much has the thing, or how has the fall you have to category as balance or running? You know, running.
For me or for John-Edouard?
For you, of course, John-Edouard can ask.
No, but you are asking my point of view, or
maybe
what is
this
it?
one is balanced for you, this size? If you have.
As you're asking my person, or are you asking my knowledge of the books of John-Edouard?
Your personality, your experience. Okay? If you have,
so, as soon as you have to concentrate to not fall, you're balancing. That's it. As soon as you are concentrating to balance, as soon as you are concentrating not to falling, then you are balancing. That's it. So a little child will balance already when standing.
Yeah.
But not for us anymore. And for me, when I'm going on a tight wire, so a wire balancing, I have to concentrate. On a rail, not anymore. If you take my trainees, they have to concentrate on a rail. I don't need anymore. On a rail, I'm feeling really comfortable. I have a little bit, okay, but it's like here now standing, you know. I also have to concentrate to fight against tiredness, to not fall down and sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same difficulty feeling. Okay. But on a rope or on a chain, balancing, now it's really balancing for me. Or if I'm standing on your shoulder, well, not now with your injury, but if I'm standing too high, it's called in acrobatic world, then I have to but I'm with both feet, but it's balancing.
Okay.
So we had here, I don't have my phone, but here we have self-defense, but actually self-defense, it was mixing with grappling and striking. And here we have a sprint. And here it was something like rock. May I take this one because everybody saw it, but I don't remember everything. Okay. Somebody change. The graphic. Okay, I don't have the graphic anymore. Wait. Somebody try to make bigger, but it doesn't work bigger. I should have to tell it. Yeah. Okay. So here we are the course getting up, initial stretch or running and fast walking. Okay, so this is a warm-up. Okay, and the warm-up, to answer your question on the graphic from John-Edouard, and this is truly weak person is slow warm-up, strong person is fast warm-up. After you have crawled pretty, which I complete with document from John-Edouard, where it's crawling, rolling, and handstanding, with climbing with graduation, with jumping, holding, vaulting, with balance, acrobalance. Yeah, so it's everything acrobatics or shoulder stand and stuff like that. Here we are throwing, but according to the John-Edouard books, we have also passing, catching, and juggling. Juggling was also in category throwing. We have lifting and carrying, and you can switch both. And here is where I want to start. By switching both, you are actually doing a complex training, what I just presented before. Maximum strength, so like lifting, because it's also lifting stuff like that in the throwing like that. So if you are doing this with heavy weight and after with light weight, it's again the same complex training. Complex training, it's you are loaded your central nervous system, and then you are deloading it by light movement, and you feel really powerful. So this is something I do, like the human car push, and after sprinting, it's really effective in this case, not efficient. Effective training. Time circuit, exactly. Here is missing time circuit, running or walking fast for weak ones, but strong person is time circuit. Then here you have the peak of the session, and the peak of the session for the strong person is VO2 max, okay? And this you really see that this is called fat burn, okay? It's between 60 and 70% of your maximal heartbeat, and it's called by the fitness industry fat burn, but it's not necessary that you're burning fat, it's just a name. So here you are in under 70%, I had percent because I know how the intensity is in Anatomical group, and so this is more or less my feeling and my adaptation. That's why it's not also the same pace between. So until, sorry, I'm losing. Yeah, jumping. So by jumping, you are starting to get in the aerobic. Okay, so you're getting higher and higher, and we are leaving the aerobic just before the end. Okay, so the warm-up phase is actually until here, and if you see, climbing is still in the so-called fat burn, because John-Edouard at this time was not the climbing that we are doing today. Okay, you have really, so there was some rope climbing from sailing, okay, on board and everything, but the face climbing and stuff like that, it was much softer than what we know today. And at the end, it was sprinting, and here at the very end, you have stretching exercise. So I already spoke about this, but at John-Edouard time, they were also singing back to the start. So really trying, when you just have to try, people, you have really to try, sprint, and to recover, singing. It's fucking hard. Sorry, I don't have other words. It's really hard to sing just after running. You are totally out and you have to sing. So you have really to synchronize your breathing with the leads. And this is a hard recovery. But that was John-Edouard training. It was hard. Or swimming. You don't have air anymore by swimming. If you are crawling, you have the face in the water. So it's called intermediate hypertoxic, IHT. And this is simply that you are not able to breathe all the time. But athletics within athletics they are also doing this. They're saying, okay, hold your breath and do 5 steps or 5 pace during jogging, and after breathe again, and again hold your breath the 5 next more. Okay, this is the same by swimming. Sure, they were also for the weak person just breast swimming with head above water and getting it. But still, and we have also the temperature here. For the recovery, getting in cold is really good to recover because your cardiovascular system will be really triggered. First, at the cold, it stopped. It closed everything, okay? Because it don't want to get colder. And after, when you leave, because they were not doing a swimming session 1 hour, huh? They were just, it was just a pool or river, getting through the river. That was the swimming, that was finished. And through the river, not along. Huh? And it was called, it was refreshing, okay? So the body stopped the cardiovascular, which is again very difficult just after the sprint, okay? And you go out of the water, and what makes the body, everything is again open. And that's why also, in this case, you have all the trashes, all what you accumulate exercise here, getting faster recover, because the blood circulation is prefer that.
Encouraged.
Encouraged.
You can take a cold shower too if you don't have a pool.
Exactly.
Mm.
It's not anymore swimming, but you have the cold effect. You can do this, yeah? If you feel fit, go for it. It's really good. Yeah. Okay, so we don't have the curves, but here we can see up, down, up, down, up, down. This is called nowadays interval training. So it's a speed play, but John-Edouard was smarter. He don't just switch the speed, he switched the activities. So he switched between endurance movement to strength movement to speed movement, because we have the throwing, this is speed, we have the lifting, this is strength. Okay? So it's really smart how it's did. So only disadvantage is for beginner. It's too much. It's too much pressure. It's hard. It's hard to get in. But for people who can manage all this, is really a great training system. From my point of view. Okay. So last question.
With untrained people, you can lower the intensity, do something more.
Yeah, well,
Easier, yeah.
for beginner, actually you have to learn them how to crawl.
Okay.
This is base, like baby, because most of people don't know how, you know,
Mhm.
crawling 3 minutes, over 3 minutes. Heel up, if they cannot do the 3 minutes because it's too hard, then go heel up. I train some overweighted client. I don't know how many kilo, but doesn't mean simply overweighted. And I get them crawl heel up. The heel was 30 degrees, and she can manage it.
No way.
Yeah. So you have to adapt the intensity. So for crawling is the heel. For other people, it's or other movement. You have to adapt the. For push up, you can put your knees away like that here, and you have less leather arm, and it's easier to push up, and it doesn't hurt the knees. You can do this everywhere by opening the legs, triangle. So yeah, adapt the intensity and also the intensity of learning. One skill after the other. To make the full package at the beginner, it's just wow, too much. And after you finish him and with fighting, and it's really hard. Okay, so.
No,
My point of
you
view.
have to tell. It's really hard to introduce a beginner into that because there are too much elements. And
It's natural, no? At all, everyone is able to do it.
Yeah, at this time, yeah, exactly. Also, in the time of John-Edouard, people were more used to move. Good. Everybody in place. And find your own pace to be in aerobic. Aerobic means you breathe. Breathe. It's exhausting, but you breathe. If you are doing, then it's not anymore, okay? Well, carry on, and to be sure that you are in aerobic, breathe only through the nose. Okay, I think that already everybody find his own space to carry on and to carry on in an aerobic intensity. Isn't it? You feel here through the 5-6 repetition already, hey, here's the speed, I can do this and I can breathe. It's exhausting, but I can carry on and carry on. This is aerobic. And this is to coming back here how to feel when you are doing the exercise where you are. So practicing the method natural, you should have to breathe, okay? Aerobic, average. As I told, example, jump, then at the moment of the jump, it's anaerobic.
So you said that we should stay in the aerobic zone all the time during method natural training?
Not all the time. You have the warm-up, and this is a bit out of date from my point of view, but you can actually already start by crawling to get into aerobic. According to this graph, the intensity is getting higher, and so starting warm-up, fat burn.
But by the end you can get anaerobic.
Sorry?
By the end of training you get anaerobic.
Here, by fighting, actually the fighting has to start to be anaerobic. So, but the anaerobic is really a high pressure. So, staying aware or mindful when you are in anaerobic is hard. It's really hard because the intensity is higher. So I'm sorry for the graphic. Your feedback. Sven, where's Sven? Sven, you had a question about the end of the graphic, I remember. What was I just remember that you had a question.
Methods are ideas for recovery.
Yes.
And relaxation.
Yeah.
In the training. So do you have suggestions?
So we spoke about the effect of the cold by swimming or taking a shower.
Yes.
What I recommend is just making some movement at slow intensity. This is what did John-Edouard. They were walking back by singing. So this is good stuff. And singing is also creating a great dynamic in the group. Problem is that it's not anymore in our customs to sing in a group, because it's like immediately is army and yeah. But this is problem of the army or problem of the people. Singing is army. It's not actually if we have nice song and like to sing all together. Yeah, let's go for it. You know, you don't have to be afraid to sing. The voice is wonderful playing instruments. So swimming, singing, stretching is more stationary. So yeah, except if you are doing this kind of lunges, getting back here. Oh, I'm tired. This was already balanced, you know, because I'm tired. So yeah, this is kind of stretching, but stationary stretching I will not recommend. Definitively not, because it's scientifically proven that when you stretch a muscle before the training, you are losing tension, so you have less possibility. You jump not so far. You're running slower and everything. And when a muscle is pumped just after, make no sense to stretch it. Make just sense to make full range of motion. To pull on something is pumped. Make no sense. Okay, and this you have also because of the here it could be that you start to pull a muscle. Okay, not too fully, but some fiber. And if you stretch on them, then you pull even more fibers. So you make the injury even bad, even worse through the pulling. Because always, stretching is like pulling on the rubber. Yeah? So if you pull too much on the rubber, you know what's happened. Yeah, it's losing the tension and sometimes break.
Yeah, they are replacing stretching with mobility exercises.
Yeah, what I like to do, but not immediately, this is all immediately after training. What I like to do is the day after a really heavy training, I do self-massage. So I take a bottle of plastic water with cold water filled inside, or hot water if I feel not fit, I use hot water. if I feel fit and I just really want to recover, then I put cold water because of what I explained you. The blood will be gefordert. Was ist wieder nicht mehr? Encouraged, yeah, to circulate, and so all the dirt will be recovered faster in the brains. I don't know. Nieren? Iran? Kidneys, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and some light movements. And as I told you, if you have soreness, you know where the soreness comes now, because you break movement, because you slow down movement. So getting heel down, you slow down, so you get muscle soreness of it. So normally, from bear crawl here, you don't have muscle soreness, because you are just pushing, concentric all the time. Normally. So, first your feedback, as you saw. Any further question? Well, we are already so far with Sven, but we can put any other further questions. But first feedback on the seminar, and after you can ask on anything you want. How old are my daughter? Yeah, so feedback on the seminar.
J'ai pas tout compris.
Ok.
Et du coup, par exemple, quand tu as donné l'exemple du plateau, c'était trop technique, j'ai pas compris pour aller plus fort, pour que tout le monde puisse avoir autant de travail.
En fait, c'est que tout le monde travaille dans la même période de temps, parce que c'est le temps sous tension qui est important, et pas la distance. La distance, c'est un résultat de ta vitesse, alors que le temps, c'est le même pour tout le monde. Donc c'est pour ça que ce serait mieux de faire des plateaux ouverts, pour que tout le monde en fait travaille le même temps, et que tu dises, ok, bah, vous vous entraînez jusque-là, parce que tu connais tes participants, tu sais que les plus faibles vont arriver jusque-là, les plus forts ils vont aller jusque là-bas, ils reviennent, ils repartent, ils reviennent, et ils travaillent le même temps. Comme ça, les mêmes personnes, c'est ce que Jeannot expliquait tout à l'heure par rapport à la courbe, qu'il faudrait en fait aussi avoir une courbe d'énergie, et non pas une courbe uniquement d'intensité sur le graphique, mais une courbe d'énergie. C'est que les personnes plus faibles, la courbe d'énergie elle est très haute, il y a beaucoup d'énergie perdue, enfin utilisée, pas perdue, puisque ça les rend plus forts. Mais pour les gens plus forts, ben, ouais, ils attendent ou ils sont déjà de retour. Enfin, de toute façon, c'est un des principes, hein, c'est la continuité du mouvement, c'est un des principes de la méthode naturelle, hein, être en continu en mouvement. Sauf qu'à un moment donné, dans la pratique, on remarque qu'il y a des bouchons, quoi. Donc, voilà.
Et ça, j'ai remarqué aussi, surtout quand on est en sentier, en nature, eh bien, celui qui est fort, il va faire peut-être 20 fois l'exercice, et puis encore 20 fois l'exercice, et il va courir entre les coups. Et puis un autre, il va faire 5 fois l'exercice, et puis encore 5 fois l'exercice. Et alors le dernier, il fait du jogging, hein, tout le temps. J'exagère un peu, hein. J'exagère un peu. C'est une chose que j'ai remarqué. Alors aussi avec les plateaux, c'est pas idéal non plus de dire on fait moins de mouvements, parce que sinon, encore une fois...
Pour les exemples que tu donnes, il faut toujours voir, et je reviens en anglais, for the example you give, you have always to look at what is the intensity of the movement. You really have to adapt the intensity for each participant. So the strong people, to tell them, hey, you are lizard crawling on the plateau, for example, and weak people, you are just bear crawling. Hein? So, quadrupédie normale, hein, ventrale, puis la quadrupédie lézard très proche du sol avec des grands effets de levier pour les gens qui sont plus forts, par exemple. Et du coup, ils vont avoir tous la même vitesse parce qu'on adapte l'intensité.
C'est une question de dosage.
Ouais, exactement. Donc, mais du coup, ça amène aussi dans... Enfin, normalement, on reste sur les mêmes distances. Ça peut amener que les gens ils ont la même vitesse parce qu'ils ont des mouvements différents, enfin des intensités différentes. Il faut faire attention, parce qu'il serait bien, ce serait quand même que les gens, quand on leur donne un exercice, qu'ils soient ou bien dans la force max, ou bien dans l'endurance, mais pas que, je sais pas, les plus faibles soient en force maximum et puis que les plus forts soient en mode endurance, quoi. Ça serait plus homogène pour l'évolution du groupe, quoi. C'est pas évident, hein. C'est tout l'intérêt d'avoir un entraîneur aussi. Hein. C'est lui qu'il faut qu'il arrive à bien connaître les participants. So it's all the interest of to be a trainer is to know well each of you participants and to really manage to get the group in a good dynamics that the people, all the people are in endurance or all the people are in maximal strength. But not that the strong are in endurance and the weak in maximal strength. It makes not really sense, you know. So you really have to adapt. Sure, in bear crawl, well, you have to go in one intensity and over the months to carry on and to increase distance so that the people start like a small children in maximum strength, get through hypertrophy and after reach endurance. But you saw this evening, we are all more or less at the beginning of the endurance. It was burning, the thighs were burning, isn't it? For people who are crawl? Yeah, so, and this is flat, you know, you cannot say, okay, the weak go all the hill up and the strong there, because after there is two groups, so you are losing the dynamics of the group. So it's all the challenge for the trainer, huh, to get all this together. Est-ce que ça a répondu à ta question par rapport au temps sous tension?
Something I experimented is along this grass, okay, along, flat, and a base, and all people are on the base, and we begin to walk, to run, no buttons, and then return, and all the people must return at the same moment.
Yeah, this is good.
It means normally the speed out and the speed in was the same, but
not the speed, the time. The speed you cannot.
Okay, no,
yeah,
the time.
The time.
Yes.
The speed is really every people. Each
Of
people
course.
And it's even better because then you have also the reaction, because they have to react at a given signal, and under tension you are losing the feeling of time, so that means you are surprised. So you have also this reaction skill which is trained, and it's much better than to, well, it's not much better, it's different actually, to knowing, okay, now I'm finished because the plateau is finished and I stand up and go back. You know, for me a plateau most of the time is not enough. I need perhaps 3. But when we see the video from Pierre-Philippe Médard, the stronger were get really a lot of plateau and was different activity on each plateau and taking one in a row after the other. So everything is adaptation to the group. Trainer is a huge challenge to be a trainer. To get the symbiosis in the group. So feedback for the presentation. Did you, 5 minutes? Yeah. So feedback for the presentation. You are all sleeping? Good. Did you enjoy? Did you learn something new? Did you like the interactivity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She learned a lot.
Good.
Yeah, it was good.
And for me it was good to close some gaps that were open between this graphic that you couldn't show us, but we I think know from there, and some principles in how to train the body. So thanks very much for this.
Yeah.
Bridges, yes.
Great.
For me, very interesting also, but I still don't have the answer to my question.
Which one? For the upper body, yeah. So I give the example from the handstanding.
I must precise my question.
Okay.
It's how to help, which kind of exercise could help people to practice the upper part of the body, but without having any equipment. Of course, if you could track pull-up, it's okay. The traction,
Yeah.
you need.
So for the
what kind of other exercise?
Crawling, crawling.
Crawling.
yeah, crawling, you have it's a push-up but in forward motion. So you have also ventral or dorsal, so crab or beer or crab, and because it's here. So actually, when you are crab crawling, is really interesting because for people who want to muscle up, so it's a pull-up and after in the push, getting the transition is actually most of the time triggered by the scapular muscle, and the scapular muscle you train them exactly, or not exactly, but you can train them when you are doing a really high crab crawl. Hein? So quadrupède dorsal, en avant ou en arrière, c'est égal. So you really have to feel that you are not falling, the shoulder are not spiking, so that you keep it, and then you are already training the back. And this train, or this strength training, you can then reuse it for climbing. Actually, when you're face climbing, you need also a lot of pull to the wall, so it's again the same muscle. It's just looking a little bit. It's a little bit harder to think because normally you pull like that, and here you pull here, you know. So it's strange, but for the back, it's exactly the same strength muscle. For the arms, not anymore. And here is biceps, and here is triceps by the crab. So you can do a lot of for the push-up or stuff like that. I show the lizard crawl, so really low. You can go for the normal bear crawl. So without material, but you have a group, so monkey tree. Monkey tree is really a great opportunity because you have the legs on the hip. So the legs are around the hip, and so you have just a partial part of your body. So it's the load. And you can even strength or stretch the legs, extend the legs in order to support your pull. Well, this is push, you pull. So this is also an opportunity. There is also opportunity. So yeah, when somebody is on the rail and another person help on the feet or sitting on the shoulder and making squat. But you can also train the pull like this. You make the hand here. And here you have exactly the same pull. And after here the push. So yeah. So use a towel, it's better. Or
Dans des ronces.
a towel if you have slippery ground, and if you have like already rasen, and si vous avez de la moquette, parce que wenn es teppich, then use a backplash, baking plate on the belly. If you are on the don't know the name in English. Teppich. Carpet style. Then use a back plate to slide. These are some ideas. Yeah, and after you have all the handstand variation with feet walking on the wall, so different angle. Yeah, for now it's oh yeah, and you have with dynamic. So if you are holding on an edge with one foot, for example this foot is on the wall, then you can use the swing of the one leg to lighten the upper body. Because the energy is from the lower body, and so you get lighter on the upper body. It's known as coupling. So comme un embrayage, quoi. Mais, en fait, c'est accoupler la motion du bas vers le haut, en fait, la transmettre. Donc tu t'allèges, quoi, parce que tu utilises un élan, en fait. en aidant la jambe. Donc ça c'est aussi une possibilité qui est dynamique. It's a dynamical possibility, but it's really, from my experience, it's hard with beginners. Beginners they really need support from both sides. Support from somebody here for them, and support really carrying the load too much. Huh? With swing, it's more for advanced people, I think, for how to move. Does it answer? Good. Good. Any other question?
Des livres à lire? Ça te conseille?
La méthode de Georges-Edouard.
On en a pas.
Well, thank you very much. It was a lot of